If you're a solo D2 player, or if your group of regular friends is off touching grass for some reason, don't worry. You can still farm plenty of stuff in the game on your own. Materials, weapons, armor, you name it. Today I'm going to go over what I get asked about the most. If you're in need of anything, just scroll down along the timeline, find whatever you need, learn the method, and get to it. First up, Enhancement Cores. Cores are used for upgrading a lot of things in D2, and I frequently find myself running kinda low-ish. If you happen to be sitting on a giant pile of finest matter weave in your inventory, here's a thing you can do. Go to the moon and try to find one of the many little caves containing a hive chest that looks like this with runes on it. Here's a quick diagram of every potential location where they can be on the moon. Just keep going until you find one with the chest in it. Now, the intended way to open up the chest is to shoot the runes in the cave or room you're in the right order, but we ain't doing that. Intentionally shoot the runes in the wrong order and you will spawn a hive knight. If you pop a finest matter weave before killing that knight, it will almost always drop an enhancement core. Rinse and repeat for as long as you have patience for. If you don't have a lot of finest matter weave, go the traditional route. Go to the tower, then pick up and complete gunsmith bounties. These can be completed by doing pretty much anything in the game, so just try to get in the habit of, if you're about to log on and do anything, just swing by the tower first and grab a few bounties. There are 4 daily gunsmith bounties you can do per character, meaning if you were really dedicated, you could get 12 free enhancement cores per day. While doing whatever it is you're going to do to complete those gunsmith bounties, don't forget to open your ghost and put on any of the lesser core harvest mods. They're not always going to activate all the time, but free cores. You can also run legend lost sectors, which Bungie has now upgraded to give 2 enhancement cores on completion and a medium chance at getting 1 more. If there's ever a day where there's a really easy legend lost sector that you can just burn through, get to it. Next up, legendary shards. Every once in a blue moon, Bungie completely F's up and allows something from your collections to be bought and dismantled repeatedly for shards, or something like that. Unfortunately, one of those isn't currently available right now as far as I know, so until that happens again, we gotta go the straightforward method, TLDR, play the game. I know, bummer. You can make it easier though. Be on the lookout for any time Bungie tells you that a playlist is doing double rewards. Do that double reward activity, and if possible, pair that together with a prosperity mod on your ghost. That way you get more loot to drop, which is more for you to dismantle, and more legendary shards. You can also go the route of Dares of Eternity, which not only drops a fair amount of legendaries at the final chest, but also has the chance of random legendary drops from the enemies you nuke along the way. If you play enough dares, you can also stock up on these Paraversal Halls, or strange coins, which you can use to buy Paraversal Halls. Those are great because they give you both extra legendary gear and even keys, which you can use to get even more legendary gear, which again, you will then be breaking down. There's also a really weird method I've heard of drifting around where you go to your collections and buy a lot of blue Season 1 transmat effects for Glimmer. Then you go to Rahul at the tower and choose the option to exchange those blue transmats for a legendary transmat. Finally, you go into your inventory and dismantle all the transmats you just converted and get a whopping 1 legendary shard per deletion. Not an incredibly efficient method, but it does work. Mathematically though, if you used all 250k Glimmer in your inventory to do this, that would convert all the way down to just 83 legendary shards. Not exactly super worth it. Just wanted to mention that to prevent any, oh, you forgot to mention this method. IMO, it would probably be better to farm either dares or any double loot activity and dismantle gear. There's actually another very easy way to solo legendary shard farm that falls under the umbrella of the final farm I'm going to show in today's video. Go ahead and skip to the final section of today's video for that great method on Neomuna. TLDR, you get a ton of loot from repeatedly dipping into chests on Neomuna over and over. Just dismantle whatever you get. Next up, Enhancement Prisms. Players with friend groups have the benefit of being able to farm Master or GM Nightfalls, especially during double loot drop weeks. But I wouldn't recommend doing that on your own though. If that is a thing going on, I would recommend trying to LFG, but if you don't want to, you got other options. Many vendors at the tower offer Enhancement Prisms as a rank up reward. If there's an activity you really enjoy playing, you can grind that out. Or you can keep your eyes peeled for any week or weekend that offers double or even triple reputation gains. That way you can grind up a bunch of rep, reset your rank, and hopefully get more prisms by continuing to rank up. If you're going to go that route, make sure you open up your ghost and throw on a greater core harvest mod, depending on the activity that you're going to go do. Those don't activate all the time, but hey, if you're already grinding that activity for extra rep, might as well shoot your shot at getting extra EPs to drop too. Legend Lost sectors should also give 1 enhancement prism with a small chance of getting 1 more. I'd recommend waiting for a really easy lost sector to enter the rotation and then blowing that out of the water on repeat. You might not currently be at farm level power, but eventually I'm sure you will be. And as you might remember from some of my older YouTube videos, a few lost sectors in the game can literally be ran through in around 1 minute if you know what to do. If you're really desperate, you can go to Raoul at the tower and buy EPs directly. Just be warned that the exchange rate is pretty bad. He's kind of bending you over a barrel, but sometimes you need loot in a pinch. Next, Ascendant Shards. Shards are really important for armor masterworking, and therefore they're kind of difficult to get, especially if you're a lone player. Before talking about potential farm methods, make sure to at least do the following. Make sure to do a full rank reset of the tower vendors each season who offer an Ascendant Shard. Each of them will give you a shard for fully ranking up, but only one time per season, which is kind of annoying. TLDR, even if you don't like Gambit, try to do a full rank up at least once per season for that sweet, sweet shard. Even if you're a solo player, I really recommend keeping an eye peeled for any week where Master or GM Nightfalls are dropping double rewards and then attempting to LFG a farm team. I know, LFGing any activity in D2 can be a big crapshoot, but double loot drop weeks are a really good way to get shards. If you can't get a team together, you could always try solo Master Nightfalling, but that's kind of really difficult and I wouldn't super recommend it. There's also a small chance at them dropping from Master Raid encounters, which are coming up. I'd imagine that LFGing a Nezarec Master Raid farm would be a great way to grab shards over and over if you get lucky and hook up with a good team. If everyone knows what they're doing, Nezarec would be kind of a short fight. If you're goodish at PvP, here's a really great solo farm method you could try. On any non-Iron Banner weekend where Trials is live, first try your damnedest to go flawless. I know, a tall order for a lot of people, but remember, fireteam-based matchmaking is now a thing, and more people are going flawless than ever before. After you've gone flawless, hold onto your Trials card until Sunday or Monday. When the flawless pool goes live, go into Trials and just play and try to win. Even if your card becomes flawed, keep playing. Every time you win a game, you have a chance to win both Adept Trials loot and Ascendant Shards as a post-game reward. I'm kind of shocked by the amount of people who still don't know this is a thing. Kind of wish that Bungie would advertise it more. When the Immortal SMG went live, I farmed a lot and got a buttload of shards by doing this method 100% by myself. If you have a lot of Glimmer and Enhancement Prisms, you can always go to Raoul and buy shards directly from him. Not cheap, but hey, it does work. If that's your go-to method, just farm EPs and Glimmer and keep going back to Raoul. Glimmer. I feel like if you play this game even kinda regularly, you shouldn't have too much trouble with Glimmer. But if you're a broke bitch, here's a tip I learned from Todd the Gator. Shout out to him. Good method if you just need a quick chunk of Glimmer right away. Open up your Ghost and put on both Preferred Resource Detector in slot 2 and Bountiful Harvest in slot 3. Not Ultimate Glimmer Booster, oddly enough. Now go to any planet and start grabbing resource nodes as they pop up visually. The amount of Glimmer you get each time is random, but apparently it won't be under 1,000. Nice. Probably a good idea though to get into the habit of just popping Rainmaker in your inventory before you do literally any activity in the game. The effect will last for 4 hours and pretty much free extra Glimmer all around. If you're gonna do the Rainmaker strat, then you can turn on Ultimate Glimmer Booster on your Ghost, which is the go-to move if you're not doing the planetary resource method mentioned earlier. If you have the season pass, I like to not claim my Glimmer piles until I actually need them in-game. That way you build up big stockpiles of Glimmer on demand. And of course, if you're just lazy and need a pinch of Glimmer immediately, go hit up Raoul at the tower and buy some. Upgrade modules. I hate upgrade modules. Really annoying, and I feel like I burn through them a lot in the beginning of the season, often for just a 1 or 2 level bump in overall power. Pain in the butt, but what are you gonna do? Most of the time, I go and buy these directly from Banshee at the tower. He offers them at both rank 7 and rank 13, but he also sells them for a fairly reasonable price, just cores, shards, and Glim-Glam. Be sure to visit the main vendors at the tower too, as every time you rank them up, you'll get a tiny upgrade mod package as well. If there's any activity in D2 currently offering double or triple reputation gains, that might be worth farming, and if you're gonna do that, be sure to open up your Ghost and equip a modularity mod. Again, like I mentioned before, they won't activate all the time, but if you're already grinding, might as well roll the dice on getting extra loot. And by the way, remember the finest Matterweave moon farm for enhancement cores? If you have any concentrated matter gem in your inventory, you can do the same thing. Pop one, go to any of the moon caves, shoot the wrong symbol on purpose, kill the knight, and it will drop an upgrade module. Spoils of Conquest. Believe it or not, you can actually farm spoils as a solo player by opening hidden raid chests each week. However, you gotta open the right ones. Here's a good rule of thumb. If any of the following raids are the weekly featured raid, any of the hidden chests in that raid will give you spoils when opened. Last Wish, Garden of Salvation, Deepstone Crypt, Vault of Glass, and King's Fall. Whether it's the weekly featured raid or not, any of the hidden chests in Vow of the Disciple will give you 5 spoils when opened, and the first hidden chest in that raid is really easy to open as a solo player. I have a YouTube video that I'll link down below in the video description and the comment section that shows you how to get 21 raid chests as a solo player. Again, go for the Vow raid chests on each character each week if you want to farm spoils solo. But for the other raid chests in that video, wait for it to be the weekly featured raid, otherwise you will not get any spoils. I plan on eventually putting out an updated version of that solo raid chest video to include Root of Nightmares, by the way. But if you're in a rush, just look around on YouTube. I'm sure there are videos already on how to solo acquire those chests in Ron. Just like Vow, you can do those once per character every week. Exotic armor. Farming exotic armor solo is actually kind of straightforward. Method number 1 is an oldie but a goodie: legendary Lost Sector farming. The legendary Lost Sector rotates every day, and doing it solo has a fairly not bad chance at getting an exotic armor piece to drop. And remember, there's an old glitch in the game that still works. First, make sure your character is completely full on engrams. Then run a legendary Lost Sector alone until you get an exotic drop. Because you're full on engrams, that exotic should go directly to the postmaster. Now, just wait for the legendary Lost Sector of the day to change until it's rewarding the exact kind of exotic armor that you need. When it is, decrypt the engram you've been saving at the postmaster, and bam, it should decrypt into whatever type of exotic armor is being offered at the legendary Lost Sector that day. The good thing about that glitch is that you can just wait for a really easy Lost Sector, grind it out, and then send a few exotics to the postmaster, then sit on them until the legendary Lost Sector is offering what you need, and then you're good to go. Also, what you can do is keep your eyes peeled while you're in the current Vex incursion zone on Neomuna. If you happen to be in that area and you see a public event called Vex Strike Force, go right for it. It's basically a challenging public event level activity, and completing it has a 100% chance to drop an exotic at the end. It might not be a targeted exotic drop like the legendary Lost Sector method, but hey, free exotic. Next up, high stat armor. High stat armor is pretty awesome for endgame builds, but it can be hard to get if you're a solo player. The Helm used to give pretty good high stat armor, but lately I've been finding it a bit lackluster. Even with the Defiant armor focusing upgrade at the war table, I managed to get an armor drop that was 59? High stat armor, my ass. If you want real high stat armor, I recommend doing dungeons. Any dungeon should drop highish stat armor, but the one I and a lot of other people find the easiest to farm is probably Pit of Heresy. If it's the weekly featured dungeon, try checking out d2checkpoint.com to see if there's a free boss checkpoint you can grab. Doing that boss encounter isn't even that bad on your own, and it almost always gives high stat, very spiky armor. And of course, if armor farming, remember to put whatever your preferred armor mod is on your ghost shell. And for the final farm today, world drops, Neomuna Deepsight weapons, and crafted weapon progress all rolled up together. This one is easy, I've made a video on it before. Open up Neptune and load into wherever the terminal overload location is. When you land, take out your ghost and look around. If there is a terminal overload activity nearby about to be finished, head on over, join the fight, and kill the boss. When the boss is dead, open both chests, and right after you do, take out your ghost and ride your sparrow out of the area until you load up the next area. Then immediately turn right back around and head back to re-loot the chest. If you're quick, you can do this 3 times in total, which is really great. While doing this, make sure to equip any crafted weapons you want to upgrade, because opening the chest will grant a good chunk of crafted weapon progress to whatever you have equipped at the time. If you load into the area and there isn't a terminal overload going on, look for a heroic patrol in the area, a gold patrol if you will. Complete that heroic patrol and you will get a guaranteed Neomuna weapon, and it'll actually be a really good shot at being a Deepsight weapon, by the way. If you're a solo player and got any farms you'd like to include for your solo brethren, share them down in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on stream.